morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening, whatever time you're watching. Welcome to Your Onion Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Joe Lahoud. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
Joe is the corporate CEO of Masouk Shamlan Al Shamlan Holding. So welcome, Joe.
Thank you very much.
So like with all my guests, could you just give us a brief introduction to your position and what your responsibilities are at the holding company?
Well, basically, I'm the group CEO for one of the prominent groups in Qatar. It's a family business that has developed over the past 60 years from being a conventional trader of watches to a diversified group of companies dealing in automotive, retail, construction equipment, logistics, and other sectors. I'm basically responsible for restructuring this family house, if you can call it, 60 years old family house, into a corporate governed group or holding.
Excellent.
That basically forms the holding umbrella of all the operating companies. We have 8 operating companies today in 2 different sectors, as I said. Some of our companies that you might recognize are basically Qatar, where we do full tire services. We have QTC Qatar Trading, where we are the largest automotive aftermarket equipment supplier in the country.
Yeah.
We also have Chrono and Watch Corner shops, where we retail different brands of watches and accessories. And we have also a company called ICS, which is basically the exclusive distributor for Bosch power tools here in Qatar. We also have other joint ventures like SPAN and Qatar Intercare, where we do a lot of cleaning services, contracting, and warehousing solutions.
Superb. Right, before we can come back to this, I want to know more about you. So let's go back in time. Where are you from?
Originally, I'm Lebanese. I'm from Lebanon,
Okay.
and that's where I got, my childhood and all my education. You can say.
And when you say education, what did you study?
I studied.
Did you go to university?
Yeah, of course. I did a double major actually in management and marketing at the Lebanese American University, and then I did my executive MBA at the American University.
And was that out of your choice, or what did your parents want you to do?
Originally, that was agricultural engineering.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Were they into agriculture?
In Lebanon, most of the parents, they want you either an engineer or a doctor. So
yes.
But I was more inclined towards business, because that was actually my dad's original business, and that's where I spent most of my childhood.
Ah, okay. So what did your dad do?
In a retail operation. We had a mini market and some trading operation.
Ah, so you were brought up.
So I was brought up that way.
Following your dad and seeing him.
Exactly. So most of my childhood was basically dealing with people.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about communication and the different aspects of trade, let's say. When I entered university, I was registered as an agriculture engineer, which I didn't continue for more than 6 months. and then I switched to business, and I did a double major.
And how did the parents take it? I suppose your dad was happy. How was mum?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, both were happy because they were happy to see me doing what I like to do the most.
Yeah.
And since then, I drew for myself basically a very steady career path. If you want to really succeed in your job, you really need to be consistent. So I started my career working with equipment and trucks, automotive, let's say, as a sector.
Yeah. Was that a sector that
was
that a sector that you wanted to go in, or that something that you fell into?
No, I just fell into.
Okay.
I just fell into, because when I started also with Michelin tires and stuff like that. So I just continued within that sector as automotive, and I started going up the ranks within that sector itself. But it took a lot of self-study and training and development.
So you kept on studying, because there's a lot of people that think university is the end of studying. And then they just go into the work and just go with the flow sort of thing.
No. Studying is continuous.
Yeah.
You have to continuously learn, adapt, and develop yourself. Continuously invest in yourself and in your skills, because the world is changing too fast.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you're not really up to date with everything happening around you, and you're so proactive and actually ahead of the market and your peers, you'll be left out.
Yeah.
So you can never say, I know it all.
No.
I did my executive MBA in 2010.
Wow.
For 2 years. So, and I continuously read Harvard Business Reviews, and I follow a lot of reports. I'm part of different business groups and councils also here in Qatar.
Yeah.
So you need to keep yourself always updated and continuously learn.
Yeah.
And that's the culture I try also to spread even within the holding and the group itself.
Excellent. Well, we can go into that a little bit later on. So, so you went into the automotive industry. How long were you in Lebanon?
In Lebanon for 4 years.
4 years.
And then I moved to Saudi Arabia with a higher position for another 5 years. And then I went to UAE for 12 years.
Yeah.
Also all within the automotive.
Okay.
So I moved from one conglomerate to the other, but every move I had was a step upward with bigger responsibility. And every job I've taken had almost 30 to 40%, which I didn't know, that I had to learn.
Yeah.
And it's always important to keep on challenging yourself and challenging the position that you've accepted, or the challenge that you've accepted. And finally, I ended up in Qatar.
And was that each position that you went? Was that you applying for work, or did people find you?
No, I was actually found.
Okay. Was there a turning point in your career where people started to look for you rather than you look for the work?
That was when I moved to Dubai.
Oh, okay.
I moved to Dubai and I worked with Al Futtaim. Al Futtaim has a big name in the region and a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
So being a general manager within Al Futtaim, you're actually under the spotlight.
Oh, okay.
So that's when I started receiving more calls than before, you can say.
So you're under the spotlight in more ways than one. People are actually looking at you from on a recruitment point of view, but also there's more responsibility and pressure.
Yes,
to do the job.
Big time.
Yeah.
The higher the position, the bigger the responsibility, and the more the pressure. It's all about taking the right decisions, and sometimes that's not easy to do.
And within Al Futtaim, was that more on the automotive side? Because they've got their fingers in quite a lot of businesses.
Yes. I was actually the general manager for all the Volvo operations of Al Futtaim.
Yeah.
And that was quite a hell of an experience.
Yeah.
Because, working in Dubai is a little bit different. Dubai is a very fast-paced economy.
But is that not like Lebanon? Isn't Lebanon the same? Isn't that fast-paced?
Lebanon is also fast-paced, but Lebanon is small in terms of market size and potential.
Right.
So the exposure you get also in Dubai with the multicultural dynamics of the country and the market is totally different than what you get in Lebanon. In Lebanon, we are one nationality.
Yeah, that's true. So in Dubai, it was multicultural.
Dubai, it's multicultural.
So was that a big learning curve for you as well, dealing with all these different cultures?
Big time.
Nice.
Big time.
So how long were you there? How long were you doing that?
In Dubai, 12 years.
Wow. Okay.
12 years. I was with Al Futtaim, and then I moved also to a company called Asadiq Holding, which is a partner with Al Habtoor Group, started Al Habtoor Group. And then that's when I started diversifying my responsibilities and the sectors that I was working with. So we had industries, we had automotive, we had hotels. So it was quite diversified.
So then that's another learning curve for you, learning all these new industries.
Yes, big time.
Okay.
Big time.
So when did you finally arrive here in Qatar?
In Qatar, end of 2016.
2016.
Yes, I was basically headhunted by an executive headhunter to transform the family business that I'm leading today from a traditional business house into a corporate governed organization.
Yeah, I'm curious. When you say transform, what? Okay, so it's a family-run business. So is it very traditional, very, the decisions from the top down. So what were the things that you kind of looked at and changed in that transitional period to make it more corporate?
That would need
another podcast. All right. Are there key things that you could put your finger on?
In a nutshell, it's simply transforming a family-based operation, which is basically a relationship-based operation to a rule-based operation. When you have a family business, you have a lot of history with people who came with the family along the way when they were building their businesses, and some of these people, they were probably doing well at the beginning of the initiation of this business. However, over the years they became complacent and they stopped changing or developing, and this ends up leading to a company which is stagnant.
Yeah.
In our case,
okay, so the company's stagnant, but is it not just making the same money, year in, year out?
Actually, it's losing money.
It was losing money. Okay.
Because it's not about making money; it's about growing.
Yeah.
If you keep making the same money, it doesn't mean you're winning. You're actually losing a lot of market share and a lot of potential that you could have invested more and more and grow more and more.
Okay.
What happens in a family business? So you have a lot of decentralization, where companies become like silos. Different companies become like silos, and without any proper structure or governance to support them. And it's only a matter of time until this company transforms into a corporate governed operation, whereby you have lots of policies and rules and regulations that govern the entire operation. And this gives it a better vision into the future. What we've done, basically, it was a major cultural change.
I can imagine.
It's not easy.
And was there a lot of fight back against what you were trying to?
Of course. Every change is usually looked at as a threat.
Absolutely, people get used to their comfort zones, and then someone new comes in and says,
Big time. I always describe this to my executive team. I keep telling them we have a very, very challenging job, and that's basically similar to changing a tire for your car while it's being driven. You have a flat tire and you have to change it, but the car needs to continue running. And this is a very challenging job. It takes a lot of resistance from the existing culture. Having said that, we can't generalize because, companies are basically people. They are not tables, nor chairs, nor products. Yeah. So it's all about how you manage and you lead these people during this change initiative or change process. Some people look at change as negative and as a threat. Yeah. They fight it, they try to work against it. Eventually, they have a choice. Either you stay and change and adopt things positively, or you will be changed. And there are many people looking for that position. Yeah. And others, and there are many, and I'm really lucky to have that within our group. They saw change as something positive, as an opportunity to grow and develop and do something different. And being so, they were promoted and given the right tools and the right direction, and today they are leading the group. Change is not always hard. You just need to accept it and you need to live it. Yeah. And believe that there is no other way but to change.
No, absolutely.
And companies that don't really change, the market will change them.
Yes.
In the sense that the market will replace them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I keep saying that because we've seen it in so many examples. It's not something new.
No.
And this is what basically happens within family businesses. People stay traditional. They stay within comfort zones, as you just said, and eventually they don't develop.
No.
The entire market is developing around them. Their competition is getting, smarter and stronger. Whereas they are stagnant and staying in one position, thinking or believing that they are still leading or they are still the best. It's only a matter of time until they face reality, and they are out of the market.
No, you're right. I remember when I first set up this business, I went to a Qatari-run company, and they, I was trying to sell them the concept of animation, how animation can help their marketing, and the Qatari owner laughed at me because he said, "Oh, I don't need this," and gave me a leaflet. Yeah. And it was full of writing, and there was a few dodgy pictures. And he said, "This is all my sales team have, and that's all I need to do business." And I thought, okay, let's see in a few years' time, let's see how you're doing, because I just thought, wow, if that's the mentality, then things will need to change. Definitely. But do you feel? Have you got a bug now? You've done this, you've achieved this. Is there not opportunities now to go to other families and holding companies, and you've got the expertise now too?
Of course, that's what I do best, actually.
Yeah,
and that's what I specialize myself in.
Yeah,
and before that, I did almost the same job in Dubai with the other group that I took over after Al Futtaim. It keeps me going because it's very challenging, and every family business is different than the other. Every market is different than the other, but the concepts are the same. And the challenges you face in general are the same. It's all about people.
Absolutely.
So, it's exciting.
And do you, when you're dealing with the people, do you sit down with them and go through it all? Or do you have people come in as consultants who are, not like life coaches, but like corporate coaches that can sit down with these people? How do you go about it? Is it you that gets dirty and hands-on? And
in my case, I might be a group CEO leading a group, but I'm extremely operational. I don't really sit much in the office, and so far I didn't really need the help of any consultant. Why? Because we agreed on a path, on a business plan for the coming 5 years. And this business plan is being executed religiously. Of course, there are ups and downs, there are challenges. You face a lot of these challenges throughout the way. However, I keep my team and my people always aware and knowledgeable about where we're going and why we're going there. And that's something that you really need to do. People need to understand where they are going. The processes and the policies and the procedures, these are now being done by a shared services function that has been created to bring all these companies under this big umbrella. So we have the group HR, the IT, the marketing communication, the finance, all of them now supporting the entire group. And they are manned by professional people who actually know what they are doing and trying to create this platform. I call it the launchpad because when you have the launchpad ready and strong enough, then you can even launch new businesses other than your existing businesses, because we have a lot of hidden jewels within the group that we haven't really exploited yet.
So is that the next step to launch new businesses?
That's definitely the next step. We already started actually with a couple of new companies and new ventures. We started actually new businesses also within the existing businesses, and they are doing well.
And that must be exciting as well when you're launching new businesses, to be part of that and to see them grow.
Of course, every new challenge, every new business you launch has risks. You need to mitigate these risks and be able to anticipate the market and where this company would be heading. Sometimes we take the right decisions, sometimes we don't. Investments don't always work. However, so far, luckily, we have been successful in all the investments we have decided to take forward. Having said that, Qatar is a market which is confined by its population and size. So if you don't really, if you are not continuously innovative and creative to generate new ideas and start up new businesses and new streams of revenue, you end up being stagnant as well. So we need to continuously be creative and reinvent ourselves.
Yeah, that's interesting. How do you have like a market research company that looks at the market and how it's changing to evaluate what business might work within this market? How do you kind of gauge that? Being
here for the past 60 years, I have a lot of history within the company, and I have a lot of people who know the market extremely well. At the same time, our companies are diversified into different companies and different industries, you can say. So basically, so far what we have been doing is identifying certain products that we have within our companies, and looking at the possibility of growing them within the Qatari market. And we have actually succeeded in that. And we have one very successful example that was done by one of the late shareholders and owners of the company, where he took a couple of products, like for example Goodyear tires. Goodyear used to be a product within one of our companies among 20 other products. He took it out and established International Tire Solutions, and that's basically a company that's today the mother company of Q-Tire, if you know Q-Tire.
Yes.
So Q-Tire Services today, which is one of the leading tire services operations in the country, was started from a product that was within our company. And it's a big operation today. And we are doing the same. We have done the same with Bosch Power Tools, where Bosch was like a product also among other products. We took it out, we established a company for it, International Construction Solutions, that's now growing into other products as well. And we grew it by almost 10 times.
Super.
So we try to start with that first, because that's the business we understand the best.
Absolutely. So
and we have a lot of history, we have a lot of market knowledge, we have a lot of competitive knowledge. At the same time, we are partners also with our suppliers. So we go into an area which is risky, however, has a very high rate of success. And that's the first thing we always focus upon.
Excellent. How did the blockade affect your business? Did that affect, with deliveries and, did you export?
The blockade was a blessing for us.
Really?
Yes. Because the blockade actually blocked most of the competition that used to come from Jabal Ali and from the surrounding markets, who used to come and compete with us on unfair grounds, let's say. We have high operating costs, we have people, we have facilities, we have workshops, so we have high expenses, whereas the competition doesn't have that. For them, Qatar was an incremental business, an incremental market. So the blockade stopped all these competitors from coming into our market and gave us the right and real and true market share that we deserve.
Nice.
On the other hand, we did face some challenges, but it wasn't really that big, because the country provided us with everything we needed as alternatives. So our shipments are still coming to the port instead of being transshipments; they are coming directly. We started getting supplies directly from our suppliers rather than from the regional warehouses or regional offices. So far it has been quite good. Also, we have grown in certain sectors, like the industrial sector, the automotive sector also. We've seen growth in that area because we've seen more investments being done. More FDI investments have been coming to the country, and this has helped us a lot because in our business we cater almost after any business.
Nice. So moving forward, where do you see the holding company in 5 years' time and moving to the World Cup?
Well, we are actually very much prepared now. I can say today we are much more prepared than before to capture any market upturn. We have the right people in the right place with the right tools, the right vision, and the right direction. And we have also the right products. So we are looking forward for that. And by the time the World Cup happens, we will definitely be bigger and stronger. We are a very dynamic, young organization that's always looking to expand, whether vertically or horizontally.
Very good. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
I really appreciate everything that you've told us and for taking time to come on this show. And I wish you all the best. How can people find more information about the holding company?
We have different social media channels, whether Instagram or Facebook, and we have a nice website also. amalshamlan.com, where you have a lot of news about us and idea about the group and the different operating companies that we have. We have a very active LinkedIn account as well. You just Google Marzouk Ashamlan and you will find us.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch up with you next week. Take care.